TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who That and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, TheWhoThatDaily.com is your site. TheWhoThatDaily.com for the sport Who That in all of us.
What's up, fam? This is Big Q from the Sports Coma. Much love to the family members. Appreciate y'all. The PRO Media Network is back at it again. Last year, we gave away several PS4s and games. So this year, we're raffling off a PS5. To enter for your chance to win, simply click the link below and fill out all the necessary information to be eligible. Sign up for the raffle. It's $25 to enter. You gain an opportunity to win a system, the PS5 system. Like I said, it's a one remote and everything in it that goes with the full system. These things are hard to come by. It could be yours. Into the raffle today, $25 get you in. There's also a deal when you buy more than one ticket to up your chances of winning. Jump in there. It benefits the platform as well. So feel free to sign up for the first annual PS5 raffle from the Pro Media Network. Thank you for participating and much love. Big
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers, go Tigers.
Tiger Talk.
Go Tigers, go Tigers.
You're now listening to Tough Tiger Talk with Big Q and the guys on the Pro Media Network.
You're now rocking with Tough Tiger Talk. We in the building, man. Week 2, LSU Tigers going against McNeese, man. After the first week that we had, we most certainly got to do better than what the hell we did last week against McNeese and going up against Coach O's son, Cody. We got all that. We're going to cover it on this episode of Tough Tiger Talk. Big ups to the Tough Tiger Talk family, the entire LSU football nation. We in this thing. I appreciate each and every last one of y'all. Upon entering the screen, please feel free to hit upon the like button as we'll cover the injury report and a lot going on with LSU. We'll start it off with Coach O and what he was saying from the previous game. Then we're going to bring it forward with the last interview that we had with Coach O before the McNeese matchup. So without further ado, we'll get into it on this episode of Tough Tiger Talk. So much love to the family members. And here we go with the Coach O.
LSU, it's my responsibility to throw that to the team. Obviously, we're going to look at it schematically, where we got to get better, which is a lot of areas. Physicality at the point of attack, run the football better, stop the run, eliminate the explosive plays. Those things that we have to address and get better real quick. One game does not define a season, but we do understand that that was a letdown for our fans, and I take responsibility for it. We've got to get better.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hey, Ed, Wilson Alexander from the Advocate.
Yeah.
Last year, obviously, you mentioned like miscommunications and things that caused the defensive issues. Was it similar stuff tonight or something different that you noticed on that side of the ball?
We had some similar stuff, crossing routes, missed assignments. Those things continue to haunt us and hurt us. We have to get them fixed. I thought that we did a pretty good job in camp of getting them fixed, but obviously we got to look at what we're doing and still eliminate those crossing routes and those busting coverage and why we busted them. And then also eliminate having an open gap in the run defense. Now, whether we got knocked off the ball or it's an open gap, I need to look at it on film.
Yeah, Ed, judging from the running game, what you saw in preseason scrimmages, is this kind of what you maybe feared tonight would happen? I mean, you just didn't get nothing from the running game.
I agree. First of all, we got to be more diverse. We have to have multiple runs for multiple sets, which we didn't do tonight. We got to get that fixed. It's going to get fixed immediately. We got to be more physical at the point of attack. Neither of those things happened tonight as far as what I could see. But again, I need to look at the film before I say anything that about physicality, a point of attack. I just need to look at the film.
And obviously, Max was under a good amount of pressure today. Just how did you see how he kind of handled some of that pressure?
I thought at times he handled pressure well. He could scramble and make plays with his feet, but I thought at times he was off. We missed some big plays, or we threw some balls in the dirt. We missed some plays. And then again, I think, hot and cold. He made some good plays, but he wasn't as consistent as we need as LSU quarterback.
Coach Bench, WBRZ, I know you haven't looked at the film, but what was one of the main issues why you couldn't set the edge tonight? Guys just running around.
Yeah.
Big plays.
Yeah, obviously got to get off a block, number one. Fits, they gave us a lot of motion and some shifts, and our force changed. But number one is technique, number two is alignment.
That's Coach O with his post-game presser for the loss to UCLA that was was last weekend. And here's Coach O with his thought process on McNeese State and corrections that need to be made moving ahead. Here we go.
Guys are really sticking together, and it's more team-oriented. How have you felt this team handled the situation?
Same way. Great leadership, great energy. Coach has done a tremendous job. We put this last loss to bed. Hopefully we learn from it. It's on the McNeese.
This team spent a week in Houston before the UCLA game. Now you're back at home. You finally got some practice without rain, which feels like the first time since the beginning of August. But what are some of the things, now that you all are back to work, that this staff is looking to focus on for this upcoming game?
First of all, fix the things that went wrong last week, and it all falls on me. So we got to run the ball better. We got to protect the quarterback. We got to stop the run, and we got to stop the crossing pass.
You have some starters that'll be sitting out this game as they get healthy again. So where do you want to see some of these backups really make a push for some good?
It's time. And, I'll tell you this: one of the backups on Saturday night will earn a starting position. I promise you. They're gonna go in and they're gonna be so good. We're gonna have to start them. So I'm looking forward to a lot of our young players going out there and have success.
Now I'm really excited for our post-game interviews, so
Yes,
we can see who that is. Obviously, you've coached with McNeese head coach Frank Wilson for a very long time at many stops. Now you face off against each other. But the most important storyline is obviously your son, Cody Orgeron, is going to be bringing his team into Tiger Stadium. I know you put the team above everything, but what's it like as a dad breaking down film all week of your son and then playing against him?
I've got to admit it's different. I'm cheering for him. Hey, great play, Cody. We got to stop him. But it's been good. I'm kind of neutral right now. We have to win this game. We all know where we're at. Cody understands that. It's going to be a battle, just like when we go play tennis, me and him, we would compete. And he beat me all the time anyway.
The team and the fans are back in Tiger Stadium, game 2 of the season. And what a great game for the state of Louisiana, Tigers versus Cowboys. How much more excitement does that give the home opener for this week?
I love playing in our state schools. Gives them some money, gives them a chance to come play LSU. A lot of the players would love to play at LSU. But, most of all, it gives our guys a chance in the state of Louisiana to get out of the homes that don't have electricity, to come here, to have a great tailgate, to enjoy a great party in Tiger Stadium on Saturday night.
Well, thanks a lot, Coach O. I know myself and all Tiger fans are excited to be back in Death Valley.
Thank you. Go Tigers.
That's Coach O, man, on the last interview before the McNeese matchup. And to be honest with you, and of course, he's taken, the blame for what happened against UCLA in California. He should, because they stunk. But outside of that, very few things that I was really happy about. Max Johnson drew 3 touchdowns in the pick. He was flustered, had the deer in the headlight look. Coach O saying that they fixed a lot of the issues that they had. They think they fixed them, but they should be able to handle business against McNeese. I'm Big Q chiming in this episode of Tough Tiger Talk. Please feel free to hit upon the like button. If you're not a subscriber, please feel free to subscribe and share the show links to your social media feed where other LSU football family members are located. I have with me in the show, we got Mozzy chiming in, and our regular contributors, GM Kev is in the building. How you fellas doing today?
Whoa, what's up? What's up with it? Kev finally back in the building. They've been hating on us for about a month. It's all good. The Swami is never wrong about old man Max. Go ahead. You don't like that. You don't like that. And guess who don't care? Me. That's who. Because I told you, I told you this was going to happen. I told you I didn't like them going to the West Coast. I told you they don't play really well on the West Coast. Max Johnson only had a few games under his belt. They were really indecisive on the run game. They didn't have a distinct leader in the pass game. And I'm like, wait a minute, are we relying strictly on defense or the team we very rarely play? And we're not used to the up and downness of that. They don't play. We are designed for grueling, running, hot, heat, August, September, Alabama, Auburn, big aggressive teams. We don't do too well with 6'6" mobile quarterbacks that can throw 80 yards on their knees. That's not our strong suit. We didn't game plan for that. We didn't control the tempo of the game. We don't have the personnel under center that could do that. If we don't change, it's over with for Coach O. If Coach O does anything under 10 wins this season, he can forget it. And I mean, that's where I'm at. I'm gonna let y'all take over. I'll be on my soapbox a little later.
I can't. I mean, right now, who can contest what you're saying? Because it's like prophecy. What you're saying is coming true, bro. And I like, damn, Mozzy is right on. Man, look, bro, the conversations are heating up. All these reports that's coming out, they're not coming out the blue. Somebody's talking and saying, hey, put that story out there that we're going to be looking if this thing don't go the way we want it to go. So now you're hearing the reports of who will replace Oregon. Now, I don't think that they're not going to fire Coach O in the middle of the season because, look, you owe him $21 million if you do. But after the season, that number comes down a little bit, and they may be willing to part ways. So you're right. I think, man, look, if Coach O don't turn this around in the next 5 to 6 weeks, it's a done data.
Well, listen, all I can say is Mac Johnson didn't have much help this team. He didn't have a running game. Most certainly, he still threw for over 300 yards and 3 touchdowns. He was knocked around in this game pretty good. The defense was good up to a point, then the bottom fell out. So, I mean, they have a lot of stuff to fix in this matchup. Against McNeese State, they got this team, and a lot of people believe that they'll come in and take care of business against McNeese State. Man, you talk about it. A lot of people thought that LSU should have had a tune-up game before they started the season. But listen, if we considering ourselves playing for bigger and better bowls, we have to be able to take care of business against foes. And UCLA is not as good as we made them look, but this time around, we'll get into it. We got a couple of games against lesser known teams like McNeese State or the smaller schools. And then, of course, Central Michigan after that. So we'll see how that all goes. But yes, addressing some of the latest coaching rumors that you're saying. Yeah, there are a lot of coaching rumors pertaining to that were after that loss. People were really mad. The boosters were upset because after all of the things that we've seen, we were supposed to represent, and we most certainly didn't do that. So, yeah, you hear all of the names being thrown around that could possibly come in to be LSU coach if Coach O is not the guy. But like I said, I think we're a little early for that at this current juncture of time, and I just don't see that happening right now. This is the first game of the season, and even though a lot of people are pissed, I still see it as a fact that the LSU Tigers could kind of turn this thing around. So Uncle Mozzy is going to look for an opportunity to jump all over Max Johnson because that's just what he does, despite the fact that the guy actually performed pretty decently. Besides, he had 3 touchdowns and over 300 yards passing. And he was pretty much the offense of LSU. But by for it for me to get for Uncle Mozzy we can get Mozzy to get a man some credit.
Despite the tangibles. He cannot allow. Okay, they ragged on LSU's offensive line.
Did they have a running attack on Mozzy? I just wanted to know.
They did not. But that was on the coaching. They ragged on LSU's offensive line. But I watched that game, and so did you. And there were several. There were several knockdowns.
I'm gonna cut you up. I'm gonna give you the floor. I just want to say once you get done hammering and making fun of Max Johnson, I want you to then use that same ferocity and energy on the LSU running game and offensive line. Go.
Okay, check it. I'm not saying that the LSU offensive line was playing stellar. That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying, a couple of those, and I know y'all saw the game. A couple of those rushes, a couple of those hurries, even one of those sacks, that was all coverage. It was all coverage, and he's got to learn how to get out of there and use his feet. He's got to rely on check down. I don't know, when did we come this big down the field, Oregon Ducks type offense where we holding on to the ball 3, 4, 5 seconds. That's a recipe for disaster, especially if you know this is the first time that line has been cohesive since last year. They were primarily freshmen. They had a bad season last year. We anticipated them having a good season this year, but that was all speculation. They did not have a good game. Now, this is the part you're not going to like. We got to put the Ida factor in there because some of these guys are homegrown, and I'm sure a lot of these guys had family that was directly affected by Hurricane Ida. And a lot of these kids that weighs on their conscience, that weighs on their mind because, again, they are kids. Now, I understand the conversation we had about COVID, but this is kind of a different ball of wax. They're so restricted. They got to live under such hectic guidelines just to maintain status to play under the COVID protocols. Now you throw in a historic Category 4 hurricane that pretty much left Louisiana devastated. A lot of people still don't have power. A lot of these people could be relatives. It could be a mom, a dad, a sister, a brother, a girlfriend that's going through this torment. And here you are, you evacuate us to Dallas or Houston first. Then you fly us out of Houston and then keep us hostage on the West Coast. And we can't leave because do the COVID protocol. So we can't even go and see our families or network with them because it's too close to game time. And once we step out of that box, we automatically got to go to quarantine. So to an 18 or 19-year-old kid, this may have been a factor. I'm not making up excuses, but what I am saying is we got to take this with a grain of salt because everybody should have had a UCLA game circled on their calendar as a wide open trap game. We seen it a couple of years ago with Wisconsin. We seen it almost happen to Joe Burrow in Jerry's World with Texas a couple years ago. And this is yet again their attempt to throw LSU into the fire to play an untraditional team at an untraditional time in an untraditional setting and say, okay, and with untraditional circumstances, and they say, okay, boys, go out here and do your best. And for me, that's asking a lot for a 17, 18, 19-year-old kid. The run game was not established, but we knew that going into the season. We're a week and a half out from the season, and they are still debating who will be the primary ball carrier. I thought that it could possibly be Coach O playing charades, not wanting to let his hand be seen. But at the end of the day, man, you got to make a definitive decision as to who's going to be your primary ball carrier and stick with that. We don't have an identity. We don't have a true quarterback because our quarterback doesn't have an identity. And like we talked off air, that's why Joe Burrow had the biggest transition from one year to the next when Joe Brady came because he instilled that confidence in him. He instilled that playmaking ability, and he made sure that no matter what happened, he took the fault for telling Joe Burrow to do something, and he almost acted as a buffer between Orgeron and the offensive coordinator, thus giving Joe Burrow a gang of open playbook to use and utilize as he saw fit. Every quarterback for LSU has no quarterback, with the exception of maybe can't think of the guy that had the historic game against Alabama where we almost won. It escapes me at the moment, but with the exception of him, I've never seen an LSU quarterback that had free reign to do whatever it is he wanted to do. And again, it showed true when we looking at Max Johnson. He's constantly looking to the sideline. He's got to constantly check in with somebody to see what the play call is going to be. He just doesn't have the freedom to be who he wants to be. In the game we saw him last season, LSU season was primarily over. So you put Max Johnson in and you say, all right, man, whatever you want to do, take off. Why did we stray away from that format? I don't know. Why did we not have a dedicated running back that said, okay, we're going to ride and die on your legs? I don't know. Our pass protection sucks. We never established the run game, thus allowing UCLA to pin their ears back and just come at us. Now, I've ripped the offense. Now, this precious, beloved top 10 defense that we all thought was going to be just this awakening, grand rising of the traditional LSU defense that we've known over the last 20 years, they didn't show up to play. I don't know if they didn't have tickets. I don't know if they didn't follow COVID protocol and couldn't get in the gate. I don't know. But that defense didn't show up to play. There is no way an unranked team is supposed to hang those kind of points, especially with those kind of plays. if you beat me on a long ruling drive or our offense has some turnovers where we giving you a short field, that is one thing. But to methodically beat us with big long bombs and just, every time we make a move, you answer with your own answer, and the defense never gets involved. They never get excited. They never get amped up or lit or turned to come on the field and get rid of you. And they kept them hanging around slightly ahead of us until our offense struggled. And when the chink came in our armor, they capitalized. And that's why we got crucified and got completely out the rankings, the top 25, because there's no way we were supposed to lose to a UCLA team that many believe are at the basement or close to the basement of the Pac-10. Will it change around? Now we all got to become UCLA fans because we need UCLA to run the table in the Pac-12, and we've got to run the table in the SEC. So that way, when all of it's said and done at the end of the year, the computers and the coaches don't punish us for our loss to UCLA. That is my rant.
Well put. I mean, don't know what else you could say about that, bro. Look, man, it's like you said, it's some things, but I tell you what, though, Mozzy, on top of that, they got to fix that third cornerback position. Mm-hmm. The area behind the linebackers dropping deeper in their coverage, and the safety. Man, look, if you don't fix that, bro, I don't see us winning many games. It's the same real thing current, and that's why you're seeing these reports about other coaches, because a lot of this stuff we're seeing is familiar now. So you got, some division between Coach O. It's got some people who still like him and still living off 2019, and you got some people that say, hey, man, look, we need to turn the page now because, a lot of whispers are saying he's full. You have a coach that coached that long, not just as a head coach that done been around, and he finally, got his championship 2 years ago. A lot of people seeing a different side of him. Like, he's seeming like he's full. We don't see the energy. So it's only so long you can fake it. And look, man, you got a young quarterback, some questions on offensive line. Like, I don't understand the strategy either. Just let him use his legs and go. Him being in the pocket, waiting and looking is not a good recipe because the dude is shook. He got shook real early. It didn't take long. And once the defensive coordinator from UCLA seen that, we blitzing all game.
Pinning our ears back. No, they don't have a run game. Why are we playing zone? Why are we going to drop for what? Send everybody. I'd have did it.
Yeah, and as they kept doing it today, and they was going to make Max Johnson beat him. And right now, he's not ready to do that.
Not ready. Too old.
Something ain't working. But
look, I don't know why that's funny.
About giving the other guy a chance. Well, maybe he might start. I don't know.
Hey, we might have to start playing by committee because
I think y'all are premature on Max Johnson, man. I mean,
hey, listen, I just saw Bishop Sycamore out there on the field last Saturday, so I don't know.
You had to go by what you see. And he was shook early.
All I could tell you is that any quarterback would be shook if you were constantly facing blitz because your offensive line ain't shit. I mean, who you think the guy is? Clark Kent, Superman? I mean, he's going to get flustered if they blitzing him.
Yeah, he was hitting them off. He was just picking them right off.
You can't
and made them get out there. But that's the thing.
Compare Burrow and Johnson. They're two different quarterbacks.
But you whipped Joe Lewis's ass.
You got to think about it. This is the first time a team is putting together, coming into a fresh season, a game plan to stop Max Johnson. Like Martin said last year, when you don't have nothing to lose, you could be free and do what you want to. What matters? You 5-5, or you might be 5-6. Nobody even checking for you. But now it's a new season and the pressure is on. So now they got a little tape on him. You know what I'm saying? Seeing what he did last year. Okay, we don't really believe this guy can beat us. So we're going to blitz him all game until he can prove that. Every team going to do that.
Mm-hmm.
And it's going to be better defensive front and better defensive talent than UCLA we're going to play.
Once again.
So he has a lot to prove, bro. Not just him, the whole coaching staff's, bro. Because I'm telling you, this McNeese game should be 56-3. If it's 20-17, all right. We're gonna
let's talk about that defense that got almost 40 points on them.
Hold on. We're gonna get there, Uncle Mozzy. Let's do this first.
All right.
Let me state this thing about it. LSU's offensive line was dominated against UCLA. That's number one. When that happens, they basically provided the pressure on Max Johnson. They neutralized the fact that the Tigers could not run the football. So they one-dimensionalized LSU's offense and put it all on Max Johnson's shoulder.
Despite that, he still went 25 of 46 for 330 yards and 3 touchdowns. He did have a pick, but those are in numbers and loss. And if you're looking for a bright side and the dark side and the light, Max Johnson's numbers weren't that bad considering all the things that were wrong with LSU's offense.
It was garbage yards, a lot of them though.
Listen,
Yeah,
I'm saying
I'm not going. You can't give me.
Hold on. Yes, I'm going to give you the stats, because the reality is you can't expect him to have a stellar game if the offensive line is not there, the running game is not there. But you're going to blast Max Johnson and says that they're preparing for Max Johnson based on several games last season and the offense that he didn't have last year. This is a total different offense and a different variation of what Pete's and Mangas has attempted to run here. So they would definitely have to fit that offense around Max Johnson's strong suit. But I'm telling you guys is that you are being too hard on the young quarterback right now, simply because UCLA took away his security blankets, which was his running attack and his offensive line. If you want to rank down on anybody, you rank down on that super shitty 5 offensive linemen, if you won't call them that were basically a turnstile the entire freaking game. So, I mean, they could not hold the blocks very long. They could not open up lanes for the rushing attack. They were sorry as hell. So if you want to put your vitriol somewhere, put it toward the LSU offensive line. Now, before we move forward, let me get Damon's asking the question about the defense. And this is kind of segue into Uncle Mozzy saying, let's get on that defense. But he talks, Damon's question is, what do you think about the guard off for tackling? Please explain. Uncle Mozzy, Kev, take it away.
You can take on Kev. I follow you.
Well, I mean, it goes back to coaching. But, it's like I said, man, it's a lot of blame to go around. I don't put all the blame on Max Johnson, but, man, look, when the game was in balance and before it got out of hand, there were some plays he could have made throwing the ball. The ball is going into the ground. The ball is overthrown. The ball is being forced into between 2 receivers. Now, I know you're supposed to have the running game as a bonus to that, but who's supposed to make that call to actually have the running game? And your running game is similar from 2 years ago. So I don't know, even if you said we're going to run the ball more, it's in the same, there's no different formations in the running game. It's the same thing. So I don't know who you're supposed to fool as time go on. Who are you fooling here? Because I know we see it and defensive coaches are seeing it. It's the same lineup from 2 years ago. It don't matter who's the name is calling the offensive plays. What we're seeing is similar. So if we see it, the defenses see it. The running backs in the same position. You never see a fullback. I don't even see running backs going out of the backfield, even running routes hardly, man. What is going on here? So, look, man, there's a lot of blame to go around, but this falls on the coaches, and they got to fall onto the feet of the head coaches. Now, I know Q like to take the emotional part, give positivity, give uplifting, and blow. Look, we love you for that. But at the same time, when we see it and it's real, we got to talk about it. And right now, Q, it don't look good. So who you supposed to blame on that? With the tackling and all that. Missing tackle, not communicating.
Your coach.
Okay. So you don't think he on the hot seat?
Yes, he is.
Okay. So you don't think if you don't put away McNeese State, I want to say comfortably, you don't think them talks going to get even hotter?
Most certainly they will.
All right.
I'm in agreement with you. I'm in agreement with you, Kev, on those talking points. But when it comes down to shared blame, like I'm saying, the offensive line has to handle it. It has to be able to control the line of scrimmage. You have to. There's nothing positive that's going to come out of it if the offensive line is being reset by the opposing defensive line. This is not going to win you any games. And if they're pushing linemen back into the face of your quarterback, who has to scramble around and make plays or stand up until as the line is reset in front of his face, he's going to have issues. And of course, when they blitzing and hitting them and knocking them around, you're going to see balls.
Okay, let me
finish. Well, yes, I'm saying, but like I said, you're right. Adjustments are part of the game, in which we simply didn't do in the second half. But you're going to see balls overthrown and underthrown. There were passes that could have been made. Remember, there were several drops in the end zones as well. Where wide receivers, there were balls where the wide receiver it was thrown in this vicinity. One was an other difficult throw, but you had drops where you didn't need to have drops. So everybody, to a degree, it was infectious, where all of this stuff started to just tank downhill.
And where was the, like what they would call them, the alpha dogs? What were the alpha dogs to check people who dropping passes, who blowing blocks, who not handling their business? You simply didn't see that. You seen this team take a severe nosedive against a UCLA team that they should have beat. UCLA is not a world beater. They're not. And it was disgusting and it was awful. And LSU should have outmuscled them. But it just goes to show you, where's the heart at? We have the talent on the team, but it calls into question the heart of the team, and the fact that Coach Joe coming in off of the game, he had kind of not an angry response or upsetness to him that a lot of people felt that Coach O should have had. The defense is his baby. The defense is his baby. He coaches on the defensive side of the ball, and for his defense to look like that definitely calls into question him. But they must dominate McNeese State
guys
in epic
quit,
proportion.
And that's what we're really upset about. Guys quit, and we never seen that out of LSU, the organization. I want to say in the last 20-some years, and we talking about when they started to make a consistent run in the championship era. They've never done that, and we seen guys lay down. Not only did we see guys lay down, we seen guys lay down that's supposed to be leaders of the team. Now, Stingley Jr. got a number 7, and we know the whole tradition of the 7 jersey and what it's supposed to represent. So he has to be more of a vocal leader. You know, the 7 is just not about going out there, you know, getting interceptions and, you know, showing off on TV. Yeah, we love that part. But when things get heat, you know, you lifting people up, you getting on people when they're not doing their job. That's the whole thing of taking on that 7 jersey. And he took that. And he got to play a bigger part, bro. And that's just, you got to call him out too. Yeah, he's been outstanding for the last year and a half. But but what he showed Saturday, it was not cool, bro. And when the younger guys coming in behind you seeing that, you know, you got to drop off. So he got to get on board as being a more vocal guy, more passionate guy. That's what the 7 represent, bro.
Well, the only thing 7 represent now is the game, the time the game start, and how low the ticket prices are for the seats. And that's a shame, because looking at the graphic that's on screen right now, bro, this is the first game back at Tiger Stadium, right? A home game for LSU on 9/11 on a beautiful Saturday, and we got $7 tickets. I don't care who LSU is playing. When you finally getting fans back after a whole year of no fans, you got a full stadium. You in Baton Rouge. We fighting for the state. We just had a major hurricane and we got $7 seats. That's a problem. So 7 is the only thing that's being represented by the seat price and what time the game starts. Going back at the same stats you have on the screen, when I do the math on it, going back to the last 5 games, including UCLA, this defense, we might be looking at this all wrong, gentlemen, because I'm looking at the last 3 games, which they threw him into the Wolves at Alabama, if I'm not mistaken. He played just a few minutes there. But if I look at Florida and Mississippi, he hung 37 and 53 respectively. He hung 27 on UCLA. But the defense over the last 5 games, including UCLA games, giving up 39 points a game.
I know.
And if it rang true for UCLA, UCLA missed that mark by 1 point, but they're averaging 39 points a game is what this prolific defense is giving up. So when you look at it, 4 touchdowns should have been good enough for LSU to win this game playing against subpar competition. And if UCLA can hang 38 on this defense, oh my God, I hate to see what Alabama, who beat the 14th ranked Miami team about 30.
Bro, it was over in the first quarter, bro.
It might be 80-6. So, like, yeah, we definitely got to figure something out. And I know nobody wants to hear that, but no, we got to figure it out or surely we will die, period.
But see, that goes back to what Q said, and which I agree with, that you can't blame the whole game on Max, because even though he had some good shows, some bad decisions at times, right? If the defense can hold it down and not giving up like that average of 39 points, you still could have won this game, and then you get a win and still trying to improve the young quarterback going into next game. He gets confidence because you've won a game by him starting, right? Okay, but after all that, they still put up 27 as an offense. You can't give up 38 to 40 plus as a defense. And not only that, you're seeing the big plays come 50 here, 60 here, 70 there. Bro, when they come in like just big numbers, man. And that's what's hurting, bro. And it takes the sting out you, bro. It does. You 3rd and 5 about to try to get off the field, and the dude will call like a 50-yard bomb on you. Like, just take all the wind out you, bro. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. But you know, this defense, we talked about it. We got brand new linebacker coming in. Stingley stepping up. He got the number 7. And I look for LSU's defense to not give up any more than 14, 17 points in a collegiate opener. And that was based on the fact that it's been a rough ride. It's been a long year. They had a quarterback injury right before. So based on all that, I still give LSU defense 17 points to play with. They doubled that. They overly doubled that. They beat that by 100%. So for me, this is more about LSU's defense not stepping up to the plate than it is LSU's offense not performing, because I think that we all got spoiled, because if we can remember just 4 or 5 years ago, right? LSU, a high scoring game for LSU was 24 points.
Yeah.
Joe Burrow came around, and now we're looking for 35s and 40s, but a high scoring game for LSU 20 years up to Joe Burrow. Well, 19 from 2000 to 2019, a high scoring game, a high scoring affair for us was 24 points. Our scores was 24-6. Remember that crazy Alabama game when it was 10-9. Those are LSU games. That's what it's been for 20 years. We had one Pac-12 year where we put up 1,000 points a game, and that's what we're looking for every week now. But we got to get back to our roots: defense and run game. Stop trying to hang 80, 90 points, because you got to do untraditional, unconventional, un-LSU type stuff. If it happens, it happens. But let's not force it. It's like the guy who wants to come up and hit a home run every single rip. But he's more than capable of making a base hit, taking a base hit, just getting on base and letting everybody else kind of do the same thing. But
let me ask y'all this. What's the recipe for helping out a young quarterback that needs that boost when the game is struggling sometimes, right?
A run game,
a good defense, and a defense.
A good defense, yeah.
Yeah, and you didn't get either.
Nope.
So, you got to help. If you help him out more, you might see less of those mistakes, because if you're playing good defense, your offense got a chance to get the ball more. He might be in better field position. He might won't have to, have the pressure of you putting the whole game on his shoulders when you got a shorter field to go. So, I look at all of that. So, and we're not getting nothing from that. And if the defense don't improve, how can you say you could see more than 5 games realistically? Because you can't keep giving up 40 points a game.
39
you can't do that. You're not going to win more than 5 games. It don't matter how good he plays. Even if you go out there and throw 4 TDs and no picks, you still lose the game 31-41. Still, you can't give up that many points, bro.
And this was competition like Ole Miss and A&M. So this is not the cream of the crop. LSU, Alabama, 55 on us. So, these are people like Ole Miss, another running quarterback who's given us problems 2 years in a row. We barely beat him again. Texas A&M, who also has a pretty mobile quarterback. UCLA, you saw what they did with that mobile quarterback. It's like any team that we play that has a quarterback that runs anything under like a 4.8, we're in trouble. I just don't understand it. I can't figure it out. I can't figure it out. It's like, let him beat you with his feet if that's what he wants to do. Don't let people get behind you. How many? Can you look up the stat to see how many 20+ yard or 15+ yards plays that we gave up that game? LSU doesn't give up 15+ yard plays, and consequently, I need you to also look up a stat and see how many 15+ yard plays we attempted, because that's another thing that we don't do, with the exception of 2019. We don't have 8 and 9 and 10 plays a game over 15 yards. We dink and dunk our way to success.
Well, let me ask you this. Let me ask both of y'all this, because could LSU run a similar system on the offensive side of the ball, right? Y'all remember Chris Leak and Tim Tebow when they was doing that in Florida? Do you think it's possible that LSU can do that and have Max Johnson in a Tebow role, but not as far as the physical running that Tebow did, but able to use his legs in certain passes or maybe plays they call up? So he's not on there all the time, but they still want to check out the other young quarterback behind him. So do you think that's possible they can run a two quarterback system just to bring a little spice to it?
You want to take this one, Q, or you want me to take it?
I don't think that's right now. I mean, the only other quarterback that I would say experienced enough to operate something like that is hurt with a broken arm right now, where they can mix it up. But like I said, if we go to a younger quarterback now and forego it, I think it's really too early to be having conversations about switching the quarterback out right now, when you know that the biggest problem in my eyes is the offensive line. You can't play like that and expect to have success. They were allowing their quarterback to get hit constantly. They weren't picking up the blitzes. And then of course, you look on the coaching side of things, Jake Peets and Mangus has got to do a hell of a lot better than what they did. And Durante Jones, who they brought in from the pro game, he got to get up off his ass and make something happen. He got to make something happen for the defense. Him and Coach O. Coach O, that's his side of the ball. So offensive line, to me, I think is the biggest concern in getting the running game going after that, because the offensive line's got to open up holes for the running game to operate. And we knew that we had TD Price operating and running from last year, and that's the heavy thumper, and he couldn't even make any headway there. So, like I said, I don't think it's so necessary to quarterback. I think offensive line is the first thing you need to fix. And then, of course, you need some games to determine what LSU can do. Now, this does help to get a team, and we're going to segue to McNeese, because I think that's what we need to see something. They need to get back on the right side of things, and I agree with the premise that we need to blast McNeese. And we also need to blast Central Michigan when we play them next week as well. Just to show that we had a little badness going on in week 1, but we back now, and we got to have some monstrous games heading into our SEC schedule. So, like I said, I think offensive line is the first thing we need to look at, in the defense, how they just totally collapsed on the back end, poorish tackling. A lot of it could be attributed to fatigue. And of course, we had 2 drives where we should have had touchdowns in the game that we had to settle for field goals. It's ridiculous. It's repugnant. One was a penalty that kicked us out of field goal range. We had to punt. So, I mean, it was a bunch of foolishness and a series of errors that cannot repeat themselves, that need to be corrected. Now, so that's my process of thought on it. Go ahead, Uncle Mozzy, you got it.
My process of thought on this is, if our offensive line, I personally think our issue lies with the defense. I think that we need to help the offense out, the team out as a whole. We need to have a 21-point window. So, like, our defense has to be stout enough not to give up 21 points no matter who the opponent is. I think if we do that, Max Johnson is a good enough quarterback to get us around that 24 to 27 point per game average. So we can do 17 to 21 on the defensive side of the ball. I think that 24 is a realistic number. The issue is when you're playing the Floridas and Alabamas and Auburn's, who are capable of hanging 40, 50 on you, I don't think we have a 40, 50 point offense. That's the first thing. Second thing is, I think that to kind of misdirect and we play a real traditional set. I think that our offensive line is more athletic than they are powerful. And I think a lot of times they just get bull rushed and punched in the mouth. And I think that I've seen a lot of offensive linemen almost getting thrown in the lap of Max Johnson on the way to, sacking him or rushing him or hurrying him or hitting him or whatever. So if it was me, I'm getting my most athletic guys, receiver, tight end, running back, fullback, and we're going to start our new run game is going to be full of crack screens, bubble screens, running back screens, tight end screens, off tackle, misdirection, reverses, double reverses. I'm gonna make my run game work by having elongated handoffs, if that makes sense. I'm gonna make the pass game work by simply moving the pocket. Okay, we're gonna get out this traditional set where we're gonna do a 3-step drop, and then you got to step up in the pocket because something isn't clicking. Either you're not stepping up, either your clock isn't going. All saying there's a guy about to knock you on your ass. So in those cases, I think that having a roaming pocket would benefit it, because I think that we can use the athleticism of our offensive line and stop relying on the physical prowess, because that doesn't exist. But I do think that we are athletic enough as a team where we can get some linemen ahead in the screen, and I think that would be a winning thing for us. If we can get outside of other teams' defensive lines, I think our offensive line would have a much better go blocking linebackers and secondary guys in screen formats or a bubble screen, crack screen, running back screen, or maybe reverses, double reverses. Even in a wildcat, I think that if you want to do what Kev was talking about, you would have to implement one of the backs in a wildcat type setting, right? Where he could just kind of take it as a direct snap, possibly do a read option. I don't see any of these things implemented in the game plan that would get a defense off their rocker. So I think that if you have read options, long crack screens, bubble screens, tight end screens, running back screens, wildcats, I think those are the things you got to do to get teams off balance. And like, I don't know, if we can't beat them with a traditional plan, we got to beat them with I don't know what's coming next. So we take the I don't know what's coming next approach and allow Max Johnson to kind of come into his own and see what works for him. Then after we get through McNeese State, Central Michigan, before we get in the conference play, okay, we got 3 games under our belt. Let's see what worked for us. Let's see what didn't work for us. And that's going to be our new game plan going forward. Everybody become UCLA fans. Hope they go undefeated. That way that loss isn't so peppered. And then we just run the table and control our own destiny.
Yeah, the key to beating McNeese State, you got to get to Austin Reed. Now, I know about Austin Reed. I don't know, haven't looked at McNeese State defense too much, but, you know, this is a quarterback out of St. Augustine, Florida, and I was thinking, like, well, how did he get out of Florida? Miami, Florida State, Florida. I was like, man, McNeese must have pulled something off. So this dude don't won a Division II championship before. Now, you know, he's like, yeah, Division II. Dude could play. He got some game, bro. And you can't go in there like taking these dudes lightly because it's McNeese State. They don't play nobody. They don't get TV time, bro. That's how you get upset, you know? So the whole key is get to this guy, bro. I think if you rattle him, and that means that the defense will have to come and play, that they're not giving up points. They're giving it the offensive, games, more plays, you know. So that's going to be the key, man. Get to their quarterback, get him rattled, because he can air it out. He got an arm on him. So just be watchful for that.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, I'm listening to you guys on that. And yeah, you're absolutely right. We got to take care of business here. No doubt about it. We're at home in Death Valley. The crowd's going to be there. We got to make this. This is there you go, $7 ticket. So this is one of the situations where we have to be able to punch this team in the mouth and really make a statement to tell the rest of the Tiger Nation, like, listen, man, we had a slippage. We back here and we're gonna make this stuff happen, and we'll see how it goes, man. Because the reality is this should be a 50 to 14, 50 to 50-ish game to like 10 or something like that. It should be that. I think that's what a lot of the LSU Nation is expecting, an outright evisceration of McNeese. I mean, if it's anything closer than that, like you said, Kev, I think that is does give us some pause for concern here. Yep. You know, but outside of that, let me pull up some of the statistics here, and we'll go over the injury report first and foremost from this game that's coming up. And of course, this is imperative that LSU starting offensive tackle Cam Wire and Austin Duculis are both doubtful, while first and second team right guards Chasen Hines and Anthony Bradford are questionable. On the defensive line, Glenn Logan has already been ruled out alongside starting defensive end Ali Gay, while backups Jacoby and Guillory injury and Sunai Funoye academics are both questionable. Linebacker Jared Small is out for the season, and backups Josh White and Antoine Sampa are both questions on the back end. Jay Ward is doubtful due to concussion protocol. Cornerback Dwight McGothern and freshman safety Sage Ryan and Matthew Langlois are also banged up from the fall camp, and Todd Harris suffered an injury during the UCLA game, and his status is in the air. So we're dealing with some injuries. Now, Mike Neighbors unlikely to play due to a camp injury, and John Trey Kirkins' academic status remains murky, along with running back John Emery Jr., though a decision could come on Emery as this is being published. So Emery is a really big part of the LSU rushing attack. Not having him there hurts, and of course, we know about Miles Brennan continue to progress in rehab from his broken arm, but is still weeks away from being close to be ready. So that's an injury report right now. Not a very encouraging one, to be honest with you. But the reality is, though, you know, we still should be able to hammer this team without those said players. And we do have some deep people here. So let me bring up some of the statistics, and we'll go over what we're dealing with McNeese. And we got that on the screen, as you can see. All right, let me pull it up and look a little closer. Okay, there you go. Okay, so of course we know about Max Johnson's performance. He was 25 of 46 in the matchup in week 1, 330 yards, 3 touchdowns, 1 pick. Cody Ogeron, Coach O's son, 31 of 47 on the season, 367 yards and 2 touchdowns in a loss. They had there as well. Of course, their top running back is Hutterson, who just has 73 yards on 20 carries, 1 touchdown. TD Price is our guy, 13 carries for 31 yards against UCLA. No rushing attack whatsoever. Wood is their top receiving threat, 7 catches for 104. And, of course, Kashawn Butte is our guy, 9 catches, 148, and 3 scores in the loss. So as you guys can see right there, I don't see no reason why LSU should just drive right over top of McNeese State. I'm just going to be honest. We do have a lot of people that's out. But well, let's get some score thoughts in this thing, man. And the family members in the Tiger chat, y'all tell me, what do you think the score is going to be? We're going to start with you, Uncle Mozzy, and then Kev. What do you guys think the score is going to be, how this game plays out?
Well, I honestly think LSU comes out. As long as they don't fall into their heart, I think that they should be fine. I think that they can handle business against this team. They should handle business against this team. I'm a little flustered as to why Coach O's son doesn't have a spot at LSU. I haven't quite gotten my head around that part yet. I guess we'll talk about that at some point. Because like my dad was like, I mean, nepotism is supposed to be taking full effect. But anyway, final thoughts on the score. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take a scientific approach to this. I'll say McNeese State, based on the other opponents, is about 30% of those opponents. So if we look at that, we got 39% or 39 points times 33%. That puts us at 12.87. So I'm looking at the final score being 13. LSU is 28. It's just slightly 35-13 is my prediction.
Yeah. I say about 38-13, but that's what I had too, Mozzie. I don't know why you
35-13.
Yeah, because usually, they would beat teams like that, they would put up 50 on the board, but here's
the thing, right? Here's the thing. I know, last 5-6 games going into last season, LSU's averaging 28 points a game. I think they'll be a touchdown better than that against McNeese State, but I think they're still trying to find their bearing, so I don't think it's gonna get too crazy. So I'll give them another touchdown on top of their average, which puts us at 35. They're giving up 39 points a game. I think McNeese State is only about 30 to 35% as talented as the teams that they gave up 39 to. So if I take that 39 points per game and I multiply it by a third or 33%, I get right at 13. So I get a little 12.8. So it's right at 13. So given those numbers and the formula for it, I like LSU a touchdown better than their average. And I like them to be a little bit more stout against McNeese. And I think they're only going to put up about a third of the average that other teams that they face put up. So I'm looking at 35-13.
Well, nobody's not talking about this, though, Q, but that Sage Ryan and Dwight McLaughlin being out is big, bro, because they was raving about them all through, spring, training and everything, bro. And you was hoping that could have carried over to the games and see them play, but by them being out and what they were doing at the time, it's like, you seeing a drop off from that third corner and a lot of safety play. So when you look at depth, how deep are we to keep the talent at a certain level? So I don't know, bro. They got to fix it because they're giving up too many big plays that's crushing them. So we'll see.
Yeah, it does come troublesome, but we're not playing a top-notch college this week. So, I mean, against no disrespect to McNeese, of course, but I think whatever we have should be sufficient enough to be able to take care of the likes of a McNeese Cowboy Club or whatever they call. Yeah, the Cowboys. We should be able to take care of them, man.
So you really think Louisiana Sycamore University is going to beat Cowboys? What you thinking?
They're gonna decimate the Cowboys, to be honest with you, Uncle Maz. That's the easy one. But I mean, they got to, and you look at, and this is the depth chart I have it on. I got the defense up close and personal there, as you can see. So cornerbacks Eli Ricks and Stingley are there, and of course you see free safeties Jordan Toles and of course Major Burns at the safety position. Projected to start behind them is Derek Davis Jr. and Todd Harris Jr. You know, and of course you see Cardell Flott there, and then of course Cameron Lewis, and Darren Evans. So I mean, they are kind of lacking in the defensive backfield. A lot of guys out there, but this should be good enough to be able to take care of business against the Cowboys, in my humble opinion. That's what I see. Kev, you agree with me? What you think?
Yeah, I do. And look, man, we need Emory back, bro. So I'm hoping this whatever that's going on is resolved, because they ain't giving us no details if he's gonna play tonight. I'm hoping he do, because TD Price alone by itself, it didn't look pretty, bro. So yeah, we need him.
Yeah, he's a big, massive part of it. You can see the projected starting lineup coming to the matchup. Projected, as you can see there. They have it listed here on how accurate it is. But Charles Johnson there, you see you see Hines there, Shanahan in the middle with Ingram, and then Hill on the other end. So I mean, and then of course you look at the running backs. TD Price is there. Then behind him, a freshman's Corey Kiner and Armani Goodwin. So it's relying on it. You're gonna have to get those guys involved. And like you said, it's not having them there is a massive problem with him. And that's a big, man, not having John Emory Jr., because he was supposed to be the guy that, that was the star. He was supposed to be the starting running back, and he would be paired with TD Price as speed and power complements. So, I mean, it just didn't happen. So they're going to have to find a way to get others involved. But in this matchup against McNeese State, the Cowboys, I think LSU will blow away the competition. I mean, and get back on the right side of things, both this one and, of course, the upcoming week with Central Michigan. So that's my call on it.
I agree.
All right, family. That's going to do it for this episode of Tough Tiger Talk. I'd like to thank all you guys for being here and spending some time with us. We will return later on after the LSU matchup against McNeese State. We'll recap the entire game. Uncle Mozzy, GM Kev should be in the house to join us. We'll have the post-game presser from Coach O in this matchup. But like a lot of LSU family members won't see LSU come out and dominate McNeese and run them basically, just run them off the field. That's the kind of stuff we need to see if you just had an aberration there as well. So a lot will be showed in the McNeese matchup as LSU. I think they get on the right side of things once again. So not too many people picking against them. So once again, thank y'all for joining us for the show. Please feel free to hit upon the like button. If you're not a subscriber, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell as well, and feel free to share the show's links on your social media feed with other LSU family members. And like I said, join the Tough Tiger Talk family today via subscription. Hit the subscribe button. And like I said, we'll be back later on today. The LSU game is at 7 o'clock in Death Valley. Later on, we'll be back to recap this thing with stats, facts, and breakdown on LSU's performance against McNeese as they attempt to get back on the right side of things, and they should very well soon. So once again, Uncle Mozzy, Kev, appreciate you stopping by. See you guys a little later on the recap show.
All right, let's do it.
All right, my friend. All right, appreciate y'all as well. Much love to the family members out there. Thank y'all for joining us, and I'll see y'all later. Go Tigers.
Peace.
TheWhoThatDaily.com. That's right, TheWhoThatDaily.com. Your one-stop shop for everything New Orleans Saints, New Orleans Pelicans, LSU Tigers, even the top flight boxing news. So if you're a Who Dat and you're looking for a place to stay up on your team, WhoDatDaily.com is your site. The WhoDatDaily.com for the sport Who Dat in all of us.
What's up, fam? This is Big Q from the Sports Coma. Much love to the family members. Appreciate y'all. The PRO Media Network is back at it again. Last year, we gave away several PS4s and games. So this year, we're raffling off a PS5. To enter for your chance to win, simply click the link below and fill out all the necessary information to be eligible. Sign up for the raffle. It's $25 to enter. You gain an opportunity to win a system, the PS5 system. Like I said, it's a one remote and everything in it that goes with the full system. These things are hard to come by. It could be yours. Into the raffle today, $25 get you in. There's also a deal when you buy more than one ticket to up your chances of winning. Jump in there. It also benefits the platform as well. So feel free to sign up for the first annual PS5 raffle from the Pro Media Network. Thank you for participating and much love. Big ups to you.